Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We got the durable goods coming out this morning, coming in at like a really high number, a pretty dang high number. I believe it came in at somewhere around, the previous was negative 6.9 revised. So that's first, right? It got revised. It was 6.6. Now it's negative 6.9. And we're seeing the actual for the durable goods, before it's revised again next month at 9.9%, showing some growth there. So we'll pay attention to this going forward, see how this affects the market right now. The main thing is to be paying attention to those signals. If you don't have the weekly expected moves up on your chart right now, we have the SPY 571.56 to the upside. And we do have 552.70 to the downside. So key levels there. And then as we pop over, I guess we can give you those daily expected moves as well. We have 565.10 to the upside, and we have 559.16 to the downside. For the Qs, just looking at this here, the top side range, a little bit hard to see because it's right by that thick red line, but 493.14 to the upside. You can see that purple on the right side of your screen. And then to the downside for that weekly expected move, 466.86. That is our 68% zone for the week, and our 68% zone for the day is going to be 484 on the dot, and then we do have 476 right on the dot. So we will be paying attention to this going forward, seeing if there is more of a 2-hour pullback or if we're just going to start to see this thing curl up on some 2-hour MACDs. We'll find out. Volatility not really showing the biggest growth here as of right now. Seeing if one thing can happen, seeing if this 2-hour can turn back up by the end of the day, that would be a telling sign for volatility to slightly come back in. We'll have to pay attention if that thing starts to reverse. One thing we do notice is the dollar creating some 2-hour divergence down here. That could roll up, I would say, a 4-hour chart. The 4-hour has that divergence, so I could roll up a daily chart. You could have some bottoming signals for the dollar here, meaning there might be some reason over the next day or so, or a few days, that people do run to cash. But for the most part, if this is going to be rigged behavior, then we could see that dollar going up and see the market continue to go up, and that's what we want to pay attention to, looking at the PCC as it opens up. But I hope everyone is excited for another week of some stocks out there, and we can start to look at what's happening in the overall market, and we see we're breaking to the upside as of right now in the pre-market. So that's something to pay attention to. Just wanted to pop over to something like AMC, noticing that kind of flat today. We'll find out what has to happen with that going forward, but for the most part, looking at the SPY, no real gap up or anything from those, so we're just looking if that daily MACD can cross. That would be a good signal. And good morning, Nazim. Thank you guys for liking as you come in. Really appreciate it. Let's try to get some new people in here today, huh? Ooh, what an opening statement. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah, so once again, we get another piece of data here today that people are going to react to. Just know that this is one of the pieces of data that always gets revised, okay? Durable goods always gets revised, seeing a huge increase from a huge decrease last month. Interesting behavior, we'll put it that way. Interesting, right? Negative 6.6 last time, and that got revised down. I don't know why I sound like Irish right there. Revised. That got revised down to 6.9, negative 6.9. So you notice that revision coming in there. Now we get a number like positive 9.9, and you're like, well, what's that revision going to look like, Data. Data. Well, until you start to drop off, remember that this stuff is all still green. The more probable move is a move to the upside, at least for the next couple of days, until we see some big turnarounds. This could last all the way into NVIDIA earnings, So we got a lot going on right now. 30 minutes still positive. Nothing really bad happening there. We'll see. Lots of data tomorrow. Yeah, there's a bunch of little things coming out pretty much all week. But tomorrow you get the Case-Shiller home price month over month, Case-Shiller year over year. We'll get that tomorrow. We get a bunch of housing index stuff, consumer confidence, some manufacturing index stuff, and the money supply. Money supply might be a big deal. But I'd say most likely if we can see a direction by the end of today, most likely we'll just head in that direction until we get something like NVIDIA earnings, GDP, stuff like that. GDP apparently on Thursday morning is supposed to come out at 2.8. Previous was 1.4, and that will be right after NVIDIA earnings after Wednesday. So after Wednesday, we do have NVIDIA earnings. I got the hiccups again, you know me. Switch over to this here. I know we're just kind of looking at the SPY this morning, but we want to wait till that opens, see the reaction. Might even turn on some tunes this morning. Turn on some tunes. Oh, this thing is out of order on my screen. Sure. Alrighty. 1561 set Friday is now showing as a short-term confirmed bottom, but I wouldn't be adding to my UVIX long until I see a buy signal on VIX or UVIX. Yeah, so still waiting for that turnaround, but we can notice that this could be a bottoming signal. Is that pretty much what's going on with your side of things? Good morning, Mark. How are we doing this morning? Let's go check on that oil play real quick. Oil is seeing another rapid growth here. Remember one thing for oil, the key thing down at these this bottom here was the 2-hour divergence. And you guys don't think 2-hour divergences, even in futures markets, can really turn things up. Well, look at the daily. That thing's turning up now. You have divergence. Oil's probably the most probable thing for oil right now is to go absolutely fucking nuts. Because, yeah, notice the last time we bottomed out down here, and we didn't even have that good of a signal. We really didn't have a good signal here. And kaboom. Now we have a good signal. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Oh, that's more likely what I would see coming forward. Wow, good move there. Gold futures still trying to climb at this moment. Still climbing, still climbing, still climbing. Getting another point of divergence here. Right as the dollar starts to bottom, we start to test these highs again. Watch out if this creates that little tiny divergence. Well, still, the main thing is, does this curl into negative territory? That's the big deal. Does this curl into negative? Because this is different from over here. Here has no weakness in momentum signal. It just says, hey, we're going to see big moves. Okay. This, weakness, this, weakness, this, weakness, all right? So if this just goes, bloop, breaks through this, might not be a good sign for gold. Might be a good sign for cash, which might also be a bad sign for assets across the board. We'll find out. We got about 3 minutes till the open. Natural gas. I'm just gonna assume that this thing is trying to go higher. It is. We have a little 4-hour divergence in here. I would look for that 2-hour, really spread out, but you can see all the divergence across. Great little scale-in opportunities. Big move up, pulling back. 2-hour crosses up. Good things can happen for natural gas. That's what you would say here. 4-hour is looking like it's crossing down into negative, so you're gonna need that to turn around pretty soon, or else you could head lower, create that divergence point, or just fall through the floor, right? So I would more lean towards this turning up on a 2-hour. I would really lean towards this still being able to turn up, in my opinion. Good morning, Jay. Say, what you saying this morning? I gotta take a drink of coffee, guys. I haven't had a sip of my coffee. I just sat down with my coffee and started talking to you guys. I gotta drink a little coffee. I noticed IWM seeing a big move. I gotta update these for you guys. I want you guys to have these weekly ranges for IWM as well on a regular basis. I know that you get them over on Patreon. $7, a cup of coffee gets you all the weekly ranges that we cover on this channel. IWM looks like way up there towards that level, towards those highs. So we'll see what happens. And then there you go. All right, so the ranges for IWM for the day as we're about to open up are going to be 226.51 to the upside, and we do have 214.25 to the downside. So there you go, right there, 68% zone right there, 32% chance to see something crazy. But we'll find out eventually what's going to happen with that. As far as AMC and GME goes, you know that new level for the week is 551. The new level for GME for the week is going to be 24.16. And I really want to clear up and make sure these are right. Oh, this is not right. I'm glad I talked about that because 23.57. A little bit closer. That's actually what I noticed in the implied volatility. The implied volatility for GameStop shrunk again. So even closer to seeing something crazy, this is great flagging. So if you just see that curl up, ooh, things can go to the ceiling. Now, I am seeing the rumors of the CAT system does go into effect at the end of today or something like that. So maybe we read into that by tomorrow, but we'll see what happens with this going forward. Right now, the most important thing for these stocks is for AMC to turn up on a daily chart, able to hold above these moving averages. You can see something crazy. All right, the market has opened up. We are opening up just a tiny, tiny bit higher as of right now. We will find out pretty early on if this is going to be some kind of trap, because we do have the dollar just a little bit higher while the market's higher. Maybe we could see that PCC in about 20 minutes. That'll tell us, you know, how people are positioned. It's Bernie! What up, Bernie? How's Texas treating you out there? Can you look at NVIDIA? Yes, we can look at NVIDIA real quick. I'm sorry about that, Mr. or Mrs. Thompson. Hold on real quick. And we see here for NVIDIA, big signal going on here, because if you can break through, that would be a great sign. So all this says good. The only thing you don't want to happen is that to roll over, because you could still have that weakness and momentum, okay? So that 30-minute rolls over. You might dip a little lower. We touched the top of our zone. That's great. That's kind of what we wanted. But we'd want that to go, actually, I think I want it to go a little deeper, right? Get this 2 hour really, really, really low again, not see some V shape, just kind of really get low, rebuild, get low again. I think that would be a good thing to look for, this getting down by that center line and curling up. Hasn't curled up yet. But if this 2 hour starts to confirm that move, you could see a big move before earnings, then it's going to be a 50-50 flip. So at this moment, you're still saying, hey, daily swing trade is on the table. What did you do? Test top Bollinger, react down to the 9, get the reaction. Okay, can we go top Bollinger and then we see what happens? That's going to be told by the 2 hour crossing up. If this 2 hour crosses up, you're most likely heading to something like a 140. You really might be. And then you have a massive move priced in for the earnings. You pretty much could end up 10 to 15% down or up after the earnings is released. Mrs. There you go, Mrs. Thompson. I wanted to say your name, but I probably would butcher it. TD's down again. Classic. And I love that your name is To See the Truth and you're saying TD down. Well, what's the truth of that? You know what I'm saying? Even hotter than South Florida. My goodness, my goodness. Yeah, it was pretty cool because we had if you guys heard the planes in the background all the time while I'm streaming, now that should stop, but they had an air show like right outside. Yeah, it's kind of like, are we going to get a rip around trap market and then NVIDIA decides, Robert? Or are we going to get kind of a dud market still? I mean, I know we're slightly gapping up, but you'd still say like, are we going to just see like trickling up, trickling up? Okay, good move from the Dow though, pretty solid here. See if that 2 hour is able to curl up. It is, so most likely direction for, I mean, we're only 4 minutes in, so we have to take that with a grain of salt, but you are noticing that this was able to curl up. It's making a point of divergence here, so you really don't want that to roll over. If you go look at the hourly, that's already crossed up. You do not want this hourly to roll over. You do not want even a 30-minute. You do not want to roll over, in my opinion. AMC is up. AMC, great move to start the day. Remember, this is the time to pay attention. Look at that daily trying to curl up just a little bit higher. I really think towards 515 it should be curling up. I actually think at these levels it should be curling up, but doesn't matter what I think. The good part is you're getting above the center line for the RSI. You're getting above all of the price action, and look at that thing down there. So remember, we were stating, if you're someone who is going up to a blackjack table and going, hey, we just saw 10 red in a row, well, it might be time to start to, bet on black for the next few spins. We'll put it that way. But there's no, right, every day is mutually exclusive. That's a big part of it, so you have to be aware. If this just completely starts to reject, turn down and go negative, that's not going to be a good sign. But great move so far to start the day. We love to see it. We love to see it. Hopefully that can help out GME. The big sign for GME that you want to follow is the 2 hour curling up. You see that 2 hour pretty close to the center line right here. Boom. You just need that to curl up. Not happening as of right now. Ooh, Tesla down. I noticed that. Tesla rejecting the cross up here. crossed up, 30-minute crosses down, you might head a little deeper. And this is all I'm saying. A little bit deeper can go a long way. Right? Maybe we even come and fill this gap. I don't know why I'm like white. Right? You come down into this area, then we have the structure to actually head higher. That would be a solid amount. Palantir starting to drop off here. The key thing for Palantir was the 4-hour cross and told you, hey, we're in some kind of 4-hour pullback. So either that's going to elongate for quite some time, or we're going to head down first and then try to curl back up. So looking at the 2-hour here, we notice it's getting closer and closer to that center line. That's what we want. Now you can see that next move higher if it's able to curl up, but this is kind of starting to drift down. Nail turning around a little bit at the highs. That's not the best sign in the world. Probably a 4-hour divergence there. Okay. This little divergence led to that, so this is a big divergence. What would that lead to? If it's going to continue negative, that's the key thing. If this actually heads negative, that's going to be a bad sign. But if on something like home builders, I know this is 3 times leverage, so technically we should be looking at the housing sector, but if this wants to curl down and curl back up, that's the more likely scenario, is you're gaining some kind of cup with a handle. Let's go look at that housing sector real quick. Not opened up yet, but you see the same look. This is where you really want to do that analysis, but for the most part, it's going to look the same with the move so far. But if it would have happened for days, you can get a lot different look on nail. So here is where you want to see, does that curl down? Does that curl back up? Is that not very weak, right? Because if that 4-hour crosses down, that could say, hey, we're chopping this low. Let's look at the daily scale. Yeah, daily even turned up. So if you turn down from here, this is why you got to pay attention to even a 4-hour rolling, because that daily rolls over. Not going to be a good look. Looks like test the low, maybe even go negative, start to make a new one. But I'm still leaning towards 2-hour pullback as of right now for even the housing sector. All right, dollar starting to go pretty damn positive here. Now, the key thing with the dollar was 2-hour divergence, 4-hour divergence. It's all confirming. So we'll see if that confirms over the next 3 hours. Morning, beautiful people. Also, AMC. We'd love to see it. AMC up 1.39%. That's very nice. Taking back the moving averages. Tessie. Rose up a bullish MACD and RSI divergence, but it wasn't a divergence because the 8.5 was a low takeout. I might have just looked at it incorrectly. Yeah, there's no divergence here for the 8.5. More so, look, well, I guess I got to go on shorter time frame. But for the most part, you would say this right here is divergence, actually, at the low. If you're talking about this divergence here towards 8.7, August 7th, you got the 5th making the low up and then across. So the reason that is divergence, even with this going on, and you're going, oh, this is lower, it goes by the close of the bar. Okay, so the close of even this bar right here is up at this level. So even if you take that point, is the price lower than that? Yes, it is. So that's what I was looking at there. Anna, thank you so much. Scalping the SPY. It's possible. We got to see how that PCC comes out. But if we keep trying to short this market, it's not going to be pretty. Market going up and dollar going up. Yep, you do have the dollar rising up 0.21. Nothing too crazy, but you're getting all the reversal signals as of today. FNGR. Yeah, I think we looked at this last time. It's called finger motion, right? Great move. Great move. What you wanted to pay attention to was a curl up very close to the center line. I know this might be like, oh, someone says it might be divergence. This isn't divergence, but it is a turn up really close to the center line for the 2-hour. That's when you can see some good things. As you zoom out to a 4-hour, you start to see the divergence across, right? As we look at a daily, you start to see the divergence across, right? So you had the signals right in here that said, hey, this could see a big move, maybe to go test that 200, right? You'd say, oh, 50 and top Bollinger, then you'd say, okay, 200 if we get past there. We did. We're really breaking through some key levels, going to the actual breakdown area, the first breakdown area, right? You see this flatness here? All right, we break through that, we retest it, we head lower dramatically. Look at the retest, perfect stuff going on there. So now you're at a period where you could see consolidation, but this thing's just starting to go positive. It's overbought. If it's gonna see a massive move, that's probably what you would see. If you're going to see a pullback, you're going to see this 30-minute curl down. This might be a trap to start the morning if we're able to see that PCC and people get carried away. Check out ICL, a little Israeli stock. Let's go. Okay, so looking at this one here, big move up to start the day. I don't like this look across. This makes me think there's 2-hour divergences going on. There it is. So there is a 2-hour divergence, but it's kind of getting violated on the RSI. Great move. Great move down here. Not able to cross, giving you that big rejection divergence. Bounces up to the upside. Like, that's a great move there. Curled up the daily scale shortly after on the gap up. So a little after the gap up, actually, right? Yeah, so one day after the gap up, hey, we're ended up higher there. So even the daily scale saying good things. Not necessarily seeing divergence down there. So this all could just be some kind of bounce that leads you back into a curl down, right? But for the most part, we would say this. Where's it going to test? Probably in this little block right here is where it's headed. And look where the price is. Well, it's starting to get to that block. So why is it going to head to that area? Breakdown area, a little zone where resistance came in up here, resistance came in up here, support down at the low, support down at the low. So that box is probably pretty important. We gapped out of that box to head lower, right? So we can pay attention to this little area and say anywhere in here we could start to experience a little bit of volatility. Maybe this is some kind of neckline. We go like this. That'd be a solid little look. I like it. It looks cool. AMD is popping. How you doing, Legini? We're doing pretty good. AMC now up 3%. That's going to cross up a MACD. That there will cross up a MACD. There you go. All right, there you go. The past is trying to catch up. And GME benefiting a little bit of positivity coming in for GME. Now, one reason this could be happening, I mean, the CAT system apparently does go into effect after today, or today in general. Yeah, Hannah, I hope that was a little bit helpful there. It's just like, that's how we read into it, and then you got to look at your signals to see if there's something. Check out Open Door. I really like this. This is one that I bought a long time ago, and then ended up selling it with a trade, but I wish we had divergence on the MACD at the same time. You have it flat on the RSI. Good move to the upside, all right? Good move to the upside. You're getting through this level here. Very important, 205. You're able to burst through that, this little area down here. Very important. Now you can start to head higher. Maybe we even build all the way up to 262. But for now, we would say everything looks good there. If you wanted to see a pullback, a 30-minute would make sense as we're creating a bunch of divergence in this move. But what you could be doing is getting that full cup up to the breakdown area. All right, we get that little handle. You curl back up, right? So look for a 30-minute that curls down, curls back up, because that could be enough to really start to head higher. I need to buy your course. Well, they're 90% off this week. Both of the courses still 90% off. Down in the description. $150 gets you both of the courses pretty much. So that's all it is. And I think you'd benefit from it greatly. I think that it is something that can, even if you've been trading for a while, it can really get you into a different style of thinking when it comes to the MACD, because we talk about in the swing trading course, the positioning of the MACD. And then in the technical indicators course, we more so talk about how to treat the MACD in general, how to treat it with divergence, how the behavior of the center line really matters. It really helps you with swing trading as well to take that technical indicators course to learn about, you know, what signals look good, divergence. Oh, awesome. Then your swing trade is even a better one at that point, has a reversal signal in it. Do you work with seasonality? Not frequently. I'll check in on it just to see. But for the most part, the signals will tell you, and then it'll prove itself if you go back and look at seasonality. You can pay attention to it, but does seasonality give you a real good reason to take a trade? I wouldn't say so. I would more so always follow the signals, and then if the seasonality looks good as well, I can feel more confident about the trade. But I'm not going to use that to say, I see a low, seasonality says we go up in at the end of August, in the last week of August every year, or something like that, right? I'm just making this up. This isn't true, but this is how I would treat it. Oh, okay. In August, the last week of August, every single time we end up going higher. All right, say 90% of the time you're higher at the last week of August. Okay, awesome. Is that a reason to take a trade? What if something breaks that week? What if something rolls down that week? That's more something to pay attention to, and then say, okay, if this 2 hour curls up, then we are going to have that seasonality. Does that make sense, Hannah? MRM up. Woo! We like to hear that. We like to hear that. A lot of healthcare stuff. Whoa, that's a massive move. Wow. Okay, you did have 30-minute divergence at the lows. Crazy enough, you have daily divergence across that RSI, not on the MACD at the same time, and not really seeing the best curl ups here, but you got it. So that's a key thing. Let's look at a 2 hour. 2 hour, you have all those divergence points as well. And that confirmed just on Friday, it looks like, on these really crappy bars, but you see how that did confirm just barely right before a big, massive move. Very good signals there. More flat on the MACD, not really the best. Schwab's down again. Yes, I think even Thinkorswim is seeing some problems right now, so I'm not touching my options right now. I'm looking over at them and I'm just like, I don't even... Bitcoin down one. That's a pretty big deal. Bitcoin going down here. 4 hour able to curl over, telling you a pullback is likely. If you're, I remember we said if you're able to hold this, like this level we're at right now, if you're able to hold that, you have a good shot to go up and try to test those highs. But as of this moment, it's starting to roll down. Bloomberg, natural gas. Daily curls up. I mean, you have all the curl ups happening now. But all of this, is that just going to lead to some sort of retest? That's the thing. That's not the best look, actually. I don't like that drawn. Because you just got to be aware that this could be... You've seen some fake outs, right? Seen some fake outs. Seen some fake outs of breakouts. Let's see. Can you get up to this level? Can we really consolidate in here? Maybe even drop off a little bit, start to create that structure, and then create it like this. And then you'll also have this all the way across. So that's something I would like. But for the most part, that daily needs to curl up to see positivity. That's what you need to take into consideration. And then you look at this 2 hour. If that 2 hour curls down, bad things will most likely take place. A little careful today as the dollar is rising while the stock market's rising. Now starting to fall just a little bit, and the dollar starts to fall just a little bit. So that's interesting. PCC coming out at 0.82 as of right now. So that's something to pay attention to going forward. Wow. Okay. AMD, yeah, someone's saying AMD making a decent move this morning. Not, ooh, that's unlucky there. 2 hours still saying pullback. That's what this overall means. Now, if you need some structure to head higher, well, then what would we normally want to do? Well, we'd like to see a divergence in our little zone, but maybe it just wants to dip into there for a second, curl back up, then we can see that start to curl up again, right? We really need to break through that 160.83. Wake me up. Meta was the one that we said would most likely experience weakness, and Meta is experiencing the weakness with the rejection divergence. So great little play there. Daily scale starting to look like, hey, I need to curl over with those signals. So that's what we're paying attention to. Obviously, pay attention if those things roll up because you might need to manage it. It just means the timing might be slightly off, and then we'll see what happens. But for the most part, those 2 hour divergences, it's going negative. It can roll over this daily. Palantir down 2% now. Doing the same thing, kind of wanting to curl over on this MACD. Now, this doesn't have the divergence on the MACD, right? You see that, but it does have a downward move on the RSI. So this is saying pullback is here. I still like that 29 level. I think 29 would be a great place to start to curl up. So, but if we pay attention to 2 hours, they're getting close to the center line. So this is when we have to pay attention to still if it can curl up. It's not negative yet. Palantir, do we know how low it will go? If you want to see how low the options market is pricing in a regular move for Palantir this week, it's with a 68% probability. You can join the Patreon down in the description, but I really like the level of 29. 29 to 30. AMC is starting to pick up some steam here. Waiting for the signals. I love when I hear someone say, I'm waiting for the signals. I'm not doing any math. I am not doing any math on this channel right now. I am telling you that we thought Palantir was going to pull down to 29, and it is pulling down to 29. I am telling you that Meta looked like it had the most weakness, and Meta looks like it has the most weakness compared to Mara. Calls starting to trickle in. Dollar still moving just a little bit higher. Volatility up 1%. Nothing too crazy going on there. Maths. Like my British soccer teammates. Maths. Good morning, YS. How we doing this morning? Pretty good? I hope so. AMC was up 4%. Look at that move. That's a pretty good move, right? That's going to curl up a daily MACD. That's what you're looking for. Hopefully that holds by the end of the day. It means something good can happen the next day. Costs, yeah, I'm assuming we're going to see a bunch of these guys popping, like costs. There you go, a little move upward there. We'll see if that continues. What Chewy's doing this morning. Ooh, Chewy dropping off, so that's not a good look if the daily rolls over there. But you are consolidative as of right now still. Most likely a 4-hour pullback, 2-hour getting really close to that center line though. So 2-hour gets close to that center line, you need these things to start to curl up. Same thing with things like GME, GameStop. As far as Nvidia goes, I'm still leaning towards pretty much a similar story. Still think this 2-hour has more work to be done. That's my take. I would really like this structure before earnings. If you curl down like this, then you see that move up. Obviously, if we didn't have earnings, I'd really like to see a flash move down, move up, go like this. That's what I would like to see. But because of earnings, you might just see this thing go down a little bit, right? We curl down like this, and then we just curl up, and then you see some kind of gap up after earnings. We'll see. I mean, unless that cat system has something to say and NVIDIA's going to report bad earnings, right? It's a 50-50 flip. I will not be playing NVIDIA this week. Just being very clear about that. Any technical analysis I'm asked to do on NVIDIA, hey, I can tell you the technical analysis, I can tell you what the signals look like, but just know this will always be a 50-50 flip. Even with NVIDIA, I'm not going to trust that they're not going to just be like, oh, we want cheaper prices, okay, and then they buy that thing back up. Yeah, you pretty much on earnings day, you will have about a 13% move in one direction. That's what it looks like as of right now. So I overslept today. Hey, that's all right. Hopefully you're feeling refreshed. If not, go splash some water on your face. Let's get it going. PCC is dropping. So PCC down to 0.78. So this is more looking like a little bit of trap behavior. As the dollar is positive, the SPY is positive at the same time, and PCC is low. On the daily trend above 50 to consider going long. It depends on the look, and it depends on what's going on with the stock. Do you have a certain stock you're looking at, Benny Sam? Maybe we could look at it and try to help out. We'll wake you right up. Maybe that's what I'll do today. We got to take open. Oh, for open door? So for open door, more so would I be paying attention to, first of all, the great signal was down there at the bottom. More of like a little 30-minute divergence that leads to upside. Fantastic. If we're looking to get into this now, it's like, hey, okay, when was the time to really pull the trigger here? And most of the time, if I'm seeing a divergence like this, I'm not seeing it on the MACD at the same time. I can take it when that RSI crosses up right here, right? But that's kind of a negative bar, right? That's a negative 0.77 bar. So maybe I just wait till the next day. Now I see a green bar of plus 3.34%. That's a pretty good go signal right there. And you notice when I'm looking at that signal, I'm above the 20 and the 9, mainly just above the 9 is good. I'm above the, I'm crossing up on the MACD here. and then the RSI is getting above that 50 line. Okay, so it's more so, is the RSI above the 50 line? Awesome. Is the price action above these levels? Awesome. Is this curled up on the MACD? Do I have a positive bar? All of that can lead me to believe yes. But could you have taken it right here? Yeah. You just want to make sure to manage that trade in case you start to see things rolling down. Let's go. Elf curling, I would just say this, elf curling over on a 2-hour pretty dramatically. Most likely that does go test the low, but what we could see from here is anytime this just goes like that, you're probably in a 30-minute overall pullback here right by the center line. So even the 30-minute can hit you if that's going to turn around. That does not look like it's turning around though. That looks bad. The 2-hour just crossed. If that starts to go negative, you could go even deeper. You can make double bottom. You could not make a double bottom, right? You can continue to go down lower. So how low can ELF go? I mean, you have gap fills. I don't have weekly ranges for this, but for the most part, you would say, hey, it might head back down into this area here. If it's going to get that higher low, this area right here would make sense. You can see this little area right here. So something like a 153.16 if it's going to get the higher low. I would say it's going to dip all the way back down to 142.38 if it's going to make a divergence. Cost saw 100. No, it didn't, did it? You do get earnings too on this guy. Meta trying to hold up just a little bit. We'll see. Gold screaming down. Uh-oh, that's not. Yeah, really, if it rejects that 2-hour cross up there, let's go look at the futures. This is the main thing to look at here. 2-hour rolls over, I'd really pay attention to that. 2 hours your first signal where it's like, hey, start to be cautious. 4-hour curls over, you're like, oh shit, that's bad, right? Because you're getting a daily rejection pretty much, or you're gonna get the daily crossover soon. Sorry, I thought this was already curled and wanted to reject maybe, but all of these signals just lead to believe, hey, this can roll over at some time. Obviously, trap, right? This is the behavior that they want to get into. Now you're going to believe, oh, gold has to go higher, right? When you believe it has to go higher, it could drop off. And what do we notice from the dollar at the same time? We have bottoming signals for the dollar happening right now. On the 4-hour scale, you have a bottoming signal. Crazy though, Mark, isn't it? And then oil's just going nuts. Rate cuts. Okay, there you go. Well, inflation's going to come back in. Q's already going negative, by the way. So Q's already saying we need to pull back a little more on this 2-hour. We might need a bigger 4-hour pullback. So we'll pay attention to this area if that starts to happen. 466.86. Miniso? What is this? Ooh, cool. I like this. I like all this. This is great scaling in with the tapering, okay? So you see how it's coming really in a downward direction, right? Downward direction, then all of a sudden it just tapers completely, giving you a bunch of little points that could say, hey, we could see a big pop soon, and then a pop might happen. But you have earnings around the corner. That's always 50-50. I like the 2-hour signals here for this little trade, but am I going to play it? No, it's just something that I can't do. Gold is still in the green. Yes, that's why I'm more like rolling over is more what I'm talking about. Still seeing this type of thing. Rejects on the 2-hour, but the 30 minutes really to pay attention to, right? 30-minute rolls down, that's a bad sign. That's not a good sign, right? Unless that curl down does not take you too deep, right? Doesn't cut this low. If that happens, we could just do this, and you kind of see that little structure that can take place. But for the most part, with how it's looking in the futures, it looks like weakness could be coming while the dollar is seeing a reversal signal. We'll find out. PCC down at 0.77. Market still, at least the SPY still positive. Dollar going positive as well. Okay, we gotta change the tunes. I know. I look for a new song here. All right, there we go. That's a little better. Yeah, just showing that dollar once again. You see the reversal signal on the 2 hour. We see the reversal signal on the 4 hour. Still pretty far away from the center line, right? Still pretty far away. So that could lead to another push down, another move higher in the market. But this is a reversal signal. If that completes in 3 hours, that's not going to be a good sign for assets. Assets like these. Means we could experience a 4 hour pullback, a daily pullback, a 2 hour, pulling back even more, coming down into this area. This is still bullish overall. Like, nothing about this is really bearish besides the reversal signals in the dollar going up to 0.23 at this moment while the PCC drops even more. What up, Batty? How you doing? Chivo looking strong. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that's going to behave very strangely. If AMC sees some kind of pop, we might see some strange behavior in the market for a bit. PDD dropped 26%. My goodness, PDD dropping 26%. Wow, see earnings? That's not good. That's why I just don't want to be a part of any of that. Like, I really don't. I just really don't want to be a part of any of this. You might have even seen reversal signals at the high. I didn't even look. Yeah, you literally saw a reversal signal at the high. But did you want to hold through earnings, or did that just like drop down? Maybe you take a little profit, play with house money. That's more how I would do it. Take the reversal signal before earnings, then see that curl down, take some profit. That way I have made some money in the move. If this would have ripped back up, it wouldn't hurt me as bad. And then if it curls down, hey, I'm playing with house money at that point. That'd be solid. What is GEVO? Solid moves, making some divergence at the highs here. We'll see about that. If that 2 hour curls down, not a good sign. Daily curled up with divergence down here at the low for the MACD, not necessarily the RSI at the same time. Great to build up to this point. Great to break through these levels. It really is. And I want to point out why, because a lot of people struggle with finding the support and resistance. We talk about it in the course, and more want to think about, oh, there are sellers here. There are buyers here. So if we break through this level, the sellers aren't able to come in. This level here, we used it as support. We used it as support. And then we break through it. That is a breakdown area. We break down, we come right back up to it, test it, sellers are there, break down. Guess what? We go up, we test it again, sellers are there again. We break down, and now we're able to break through. So if I was looking for a pullback, some kind of wick down to that area to then move higher would be nice. Looking at a 30-minute here, that would mean what? Well, these divergences could lead to a 2 hour bigger pullback, so you got to be aware that this could get ugly. But if it did want to retest something down towards these levels, I think this whole area in here would make sense, something like a 0.77. Am I still on here? I need to look at the actual ticker you're looking at, but for the most part, I would say that's a 30-minute divergence at the high. Okay, we more so look at a 2 hour if that curls over. I'm still looking for the 2 hour. We need good price action to really tell us, like, hey, is this going to break down over the next couple of weeks? I think a little 2 hour curling down kind of tells you, hey, that's possible. If the 4 hour curls down, I think you're going, okay, we're probably going to turn down for the next couple of weeks in gold. It's true, Doug TV. You got to be able to withstand, right? We got to hold for the whole day. You got to hold for the whole day. You have the right signals, though. These are all the signals you want. This is just a regular swing trade now. Look at that. It's a regular swing trade. You'd see this. You'd take the course down in the description, 90% off. It's $50 to take the swing trading course. You would take that and you'd go, hey, these are all those signals, right? That's all. Now, every single time, there's still a probability that this just rolls down, right? They could still fight the stock. So, but if this completed by the end of the day, that would say positivity is coming. If that were to roll over, you would just want to react. UUP, some dollar stuff. And on this one, so UUP, what we should see at the lows are some forms of divergence. And what are you noticing? We're seeing those forms of divergence on the 30-minute chart here. So there you go. You're seeing it on the 30-minute. Probably would see it on the hourly. Might even see a little something on the 2-hour. And you do, but it's far away from the center line. So any pop here could lead to another drop in the dollar. Need to stop being so scared. No, this is like the completely don't be scared, right? That's what it says. As of right now, it's like this is the first signal. This is the first day of this signal. More likely when you see this signal, you do see about a week or two of positivity. Sometimes with crazy moves, you can see 3 weeks of positivity, right? Before consolidation, usually you'll see a few days. Sometimes you'll consolidate right away and then you'll see the pop, but how to do it this way? Negative, but I do it this way. Oh, the meme stocks, and yeah, it makes me worried for NVIDIA earnings. So the reason it makes me a little worried for NVIDIA earnings is because if these things are going to pop off and NVIDIA, the asset that's used as collateral, is going to drop, that would be a bad sign for the market overall, right? This holds a heavy weight. This drops dramatically. That collateral is damaged in AMC and GME. It means, hey, their collateral's at risk. And that's not a good thing. It means they probably can't borrow shares to suppress the stock as much. So you're just looking for AMC, looks like to close around that 520 area would be a solid cross up. I gotta change this song again. Solid amount of people in here this morning. Let's get some likes out there. Like the channel. Thank you guys for being here. Just Joe giving us those updates. We love to see it. Doug TV really wanting that AMC pop, encouraging people, hey, this might be the moment, and you are seeing some good signals over here. So Doug TV, I get it. Alexander, just feeling like health and meme stocks are the way right now, and that's kind of proven in the signals as of right now. Legini, excited about that cross up on the daily scale. With all your buying on FFIE, that's what helped you. Can't get right. Let's look at this. Do you think the spike could hit 570 this week? Do I think it could? I'm always going to say yes, it could, especially when you do have a weekly move up towards that 571.56. But you have to look at where stocks are at the time being. What signals am I getting right now? So at this area, if I'm seeing a reversal signal in the dollar, and I know that the dollar goes up most of the time, stocks should be going down. What could happen from that? All right, so if the dollar is showing a reversal signal, that's probably not a good sign, and gold is showing that sign of going down, and gold's been going up while the market's been going up relatively, then we would say a bigger pullback might be coming. So we pay attention to here. If we get there quickly, we have a chance to land at 570 by the end of the week. Anything can really happen with NVIDIA earnings. So for the most part, just following the signals, if this 30-minute crosses down, you'd say that's a low probability to get to 570. But if it would say just do this and then curl right back up, you might say that's a higher probability to get to 570. I can't tell you what to buy. I can tell you what things look like they are going to see massive pullbacks if this crosses over. This is a bad signal right here. That's another divergence point really close to the center line for the RSI and the MACD. So if that turns down, that means, hey, we have a chance to test this low, go make a new one. So that's all the signals are saying there. As far as it goes for Tesla, though, right, and we can pay attention to reversal still for NVIDIA if that thing wants to curl up again, right? We'll see. 2-hour just might need to pull back further, and that's what I'm leaning towards. I still think this is going to go like this before earnings. That would be interesting, at least. And that looks like the most probable thing if the 30-minute can cross over. So that means be careful. If that 2-hour does this, then you're in a buy zone, right? Then we're in a buy zone. I want you to notice when we did break down, where'd we go to? Right to the top of that zone. If you zoom in, the wick literally hits right in the top of that zone. So that tells you this zone is still important. And if we go down, it makes sense. And we would have the structure maybe to head higher, right? So if this can curl down like this, then curl back up, that would be a nice look. We'll see if that's able to happen. It's true, Earl. It is pretty uncertain out there. There's a lot of different things. Oh, shoot. Short Fridays. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. Saying smash that like button. It's a good luck button. Thank you so much for the $5. I'm totally surprised the market is holding at all-time highs. Yes, it would be surprising if we didn't know already that pretty much, 3 stocks hold the market up. So unless you're seeing like big, massive moves from those stocks, like Apple and Google are holding up a little bit better. Netflix is holding up okay. Microsoft holding up okay. Amazon holding up okay. So as long as you have a few of those stocks holding up, then you can really hold up for a while. It's what sucks. It's kind of like, they chip away at the smaller stuff, a little bit bigger, and then the biggest stocks start to fall. And then, Tesla. Someone did ask about Tesla, and then we'll go look over at G-Wave for you, all right? Tesla, though, this is very key. The 2-hour not confirming the move up. So what does that mean? I need to look at a 30-minute right away, because if that's curling down, then we could end up back in a buy zone. That's what I truly believe. I think these buy zones will be pretty important for Tesla and NVIDIA. I'm going to go look for my weekly range, see if it's in there. Yeah, so you do have a weekly range within that little box. So you see this box, you have a weekly range in here, down towards a little bit towards the bottom side of it. So if this 30-minute curls down, the most likely thing is, hey, maybe we're heading directly towards that weekly range. But I'd say you need to cut out this low first, right? You cut out 210, you got like another 4 points, you probably go down lower. You shorted SPY on Friday for today? Well, then you really want this SPY to start rolling down, which you have all the signals of a rigged move, except for now the PCC starting to drift up a little bit. Dollar starting to drift down. So right when we think the rigged move is going to take place, well, people start to flip around, which makes sense. So tell me what it's like at the bottom, and you were taking off, and it's soon to be forgotten. Oh yeah, G-Wave. Let's look at G-Wave first, then we'll go look over at Kava. A lot of people asking about Kava lately. G-Wave, I kind of like this little higher low, and I like that it's probably getting a higher low on the 2-hour. You see that? That's actually good, okay? Even though it doesn't have divergence, that is a good sign that you could see positivity if this can go positive. So that's a key thing. So what do you want? You don't want this 2-hour to roll over, which means I don't want this 30-minute to roll over. That's what this means. I don't want this 30-minute to roll over. If that rolls over, we could head lower, right? It's negative territory right there. So for the most part, we want this to just flip back up. Everything might be Gucci. We can look at a daily scale, seeing that that's not going to help us too much, but it's trying to go positive, so. G-Wave is a difficult one for sure as far as technicals go. Just a lot of weird behavior for the MACD, but we're noticing Kava, great move, right? Crossed up on the daily scale, curled down for that pullback. That's where you manage the trade, and then you get back in. Okay, this signal right here at about 89.90. Boom, heads to the upside. Great move from that 89.90. Oh, man. I was trying to be patient and play the stocks I normally do, but I probably should have took Kava as well back in the day. I like this. So the divergence down here at the lows, daily scale curling up. The only problem is you got earnings. So 50-50 flip on that, but all the signals down here look pretty decent for upside. Earnings can really change that, so just be careful. But you're starting to go positive. Everything here looks good so far. Earnings could be a blip for you. QQQ. Well, I did. Solid move from the Dow. Volatility trying to turn back up. We'll see if that can curl up on a 2-hour. That's the main thing we need to see here, a 2-hour curl up. Maybe even a 1-hour. We still have to see if this 30-minute is going to roll over here for the MACD for the SPY. That's what I was going to say, Short Friday. So I was like, man, I might see if she wants to go take baby girl to get some lunch. They have a nice little sitting area at the Firehouse Subs I'm thinking of. Mind checking Palantir. Yeah, Palantir is showing some 4-hour pullback behavior as of right now. Able to break through this level. Bunch of divergences at the high. You see a bunch of them. 2 hour though, you can see up here now you're starting to drift down a little bit lower, starting to curl up actually, so starting to get that wick up. That's not a bad sign. Look for 30 minutes, 2 hours want to curl back up into positive territory. For the most part, 4 hours saying, hey, we're in a pullback, so this could last a little bit longer. There you go, can't get right. Yeah, you just really don't want this daily to cross down. You do have divergence on the RSI. So this could mean daily pullback is coming. I still like that level of 29 to 30. Yeah, it is kind of hard to see that, isn't it? Not bad. Palo Alto. $30 minutes starting to curl up. That's a good sign. 2 hour curls up, that would be a better sign. I would say the perfect one's in between those. I'd say the hourly in this case is important. That hourly can turn up, get across the center line for the RSI, you have another move higher, possibly to test the high, go make a new one. Bow. As far as it being an opportunity for the dip, I mean, necessarily haven't seen major dip here. I mean, we've seen dips in certain stocks. You can always see 1-2% reactions back up from those levels, but for the most part, I want to see what is the SPY doing before I go like, yeah, I'm gonna go long in this. No, the SPY just curls over right here. We could test this low, go make a new one. So I want to make sure maybe I'm down towards a weekly range early on in the week, or towards the upside weekly range early on in the week before I make a decision. PCC took a little drop. No, it's down at 0.84, so sitting right in the middle as of right now. But people did go to the call side. The dollar was a little bit higher, starting to drift down just a little bit here for the dollar. Living like a king someday. You think Tesla goes to 75? It just depends on when. Just depends on when. Right? The daily scale turns down here. Yeah, you can see some crazy price action to the downside for sure. But is that going to really be massive crash? I think this will more likely be bear market. I think that they're going to try to, in a move down, keep the market in that type of behavior to really make people lose money. I think bear market's still coming. 275 would make a little bit of sense, right? We come up and retest those highs, get people some trappiness in there. But I don't know if that will happen, because if this monthly scale turns up, it's saying, hey, Tesla might be a good monthly investment, a good investment for a year. So that would be interesting. That'd be the opposite signal of what you're seeing in the market. Qs could not do it, man. They're about to curl over. Now, Qs going down to the daily expected move as of now. This is where either we see some support or we see something crazy. It's very early on in the day. Didn't just live, I was la la. You said ouch for AMD right now, William. This thing hasn't even crossed over yet, man. The real ouch might be coming in a moment. Right, we're seeing a bigger overall 2 hour pullback is what's going to most likely happen here. Now, you would hope to hold up in this area. That's very key, right? That's the breakdown area, so that can be used as support. Pay attention if that 30-minute rolls back up, but 2 hour could easily leak down a little lower, maybe towards like a 145, and then we'll see what happens around that NVIDIA earnings. That is a not a good move there. Qs, are they breaking through? That's kind of a key thing. Is it breaking through this? Because as of right now, this is where we'd expect it to hold up. If people are trying to short too dramatically, I don't think you're seeing too dramatic of short positions, though. If it crossed the daily tomorrow, I actually would like it to cross the daily today, have that CAT system go into effect, and then see some buying before market open. That's what I would like. But I don't really, you know, it's kind of like a, I don't really care. If it wants to turn up today, awesome, I can take the play. If it wants to turn up tomorrow, awesome, I can take the play. That's kind of how I'm treating it. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I wish this, I wish that. I'm just like, okay, if it crosses up today, how am I going to react? If it crosses up tomorrow, how am I going to react, Legini? You know what I'm saying? It depends on what goes on before the election, to be honest. I am, trying to stay aware of what's going on. I think we have high potential for lockdown. I think you have high potential for EMP before. I think you have some kind of cyber attack that could happen before. So I think some funky business will happen before the election. I'm preparing for that in my real life. But am I going to trade based on that and take out shorts through October or something just because of that? No, the signals will tell me. And weirdly enough, people, the signals do tell you before things happen. And the reason they tell you before things happen is because someone always knows a little bit more than you do. Someone always gets the data. Why do you think we see divergences confirm and then things start to crash? It's like that's why those signals are at the top. Now, it doesn't mean it happens all the time. It just means prepare for it if it is going to happen. Are we seeing crash signals as of right now? Well, volatility is still holding its crash signal. It's holding its crash signal for sure. But does that mean I take a trade based on that when the signals look like this? Hey, this means downside might be likely if we cross over. But what I overall expect then is what will most likely happen is either this is going to matter, right? This could matter right now, right? The daily could roll over and something bad could happen, right? But we're not seeing that dollar scale up too much, so I think you're more likely to see a little 2-hour divergence, and then this will be a point to pay attention. And then you might say, okay, now that's pulling back, and then if that crosses back up, do I get a divergence right here? You see how that could leak into October very quickly. So first point to pay attention, September 9th. Look how I drew that again. It just lines up perfectly. September 9th is going to be a big deal. If we can get through that, then you would say sometime in October might be the big deal. And these are just points to pay attention. It doesn't mean bad things have to happen, right? Bad things don't have to happen. It's just you will see a signal that looks bad before something bad happens. That's the thing. Because they can't resist themselves. They can't resist trapping people one more time, which shows you the weakness in momentum. If we were in a real market, right, in a real free market, free stock market, in my opinion at least, I don't think you'd see as much rigged behavior. I don't think you'd see as many divergences. I just think you would see, oh, MACD curls up, good things, MACD curls down, bad things. That's what I think the market would normally look like. I don't think you'd see as much divergence if they weren't trying to trap people all the time, right? It could. I mean, the thing with things like this, if it's just going ballistic, these things can just go ballistic. That's fine. Does it mean I want to take a trade setup? Not necessarily, but the trade setup I would take is if a 30-minute crosses down. Well, 30-minute crosses down, crosses back up, positivity. So now I'm looking for a bigger cross down, right? So the time where this saw a big move and you notice it went higher and higher and higher, you had to be patient for a long time. You saw a bunch of curl ups that created a divergence. Then you see a bigger dip and then you go, okay, now that's curling up, not able to remain negative with all the divergences. So that means a good thing can happen. Boom, to the upside, right? So this was the last time to really take a trade with it. Maybe you manage a little bit here, right? Let some run or something like that. But for me, I'm not swing trading on a 30-minute with moves like these. I'm waiting for bigger overall pullbacks and everything. If I'm not in the move, I'm not going to be too bummed out. But could it have a pullback soon? It could have a pullback at any time, right? It's at those levels where a pullback could happen at any time. But do you know that for sure right now? Am I going to short that? No, I'm more looking for more positivity. Very unlikely to see things boom up and then just crash down unless there's short sellers behind it. More likely to see boom up, crash down a little bit, or consolidate, and then you see that 30-minute curl up. You're going, there's my signal, scalp time. Well, we're looking at the Qs still coming into that daily expected move. So if the target is still for the SPY to hit its daily, then the Qs might experience a little bit more weakness. Pay attention, there might be something little in here we can watch to see if we're going to end up towards something like 570 or something in the SPY. Apple is starting to suffer here as well, curling down on the MACD. So Apple confirming pretty much all the divergences now again. And now we have to see, is that going to be a bad thing? Well, it's got to chop out this low. And the 2-hour did reject the crossing. So you're looking like a more 2-hour pullback or sideways price action. Yeah, that's why I like Apple. I like to trade Apple a lot. Tesla's seeing a 3% downward move now. Remember, something like in that little zone down there can come in to be a little bit important. Maybe we make a divergence at that level. We actually did get oversold on this move, so if we went and made a divergence down here, that could mean a good move for Tesla is coming. And your eyes on your right eye. What was that one? What did Pow do? What did Pow end up doing? Ooh, little divergences on Pow here. Watch out for a 2-hour. Yeah, watch for the 2-hour to pull back here for Pow as it hits the breakdown area. Yeah, Apple's my most traded stock. Still to this day. I did not like the look of Amazon. Dollar not able to keep ripping though. These signals have to hold. Expected ranges for Apple this week. Those are over on Patreon right now. You can get those down in the link in the description. Let's see. As far as it goes, it only looks like maybe 2.5% move down if it wants to curl down. I would just say this. I like this area right here, which would bring you down into this, which I really, really like. Everything touching top of zones and stuff. Look at that Meta play. See, Meta was the one. That's the one that showed weakness. Watch out for a daily crossover. That thing's kind of dropping off, isn't it? SMCI 5% now. Ooh. Watch for that daily curl down. Could mean, hey, what do we see? Divergence down here at the lows. But for the most part, you would just say, hey, that 2-hour is curling down. If that can curl up, good things. If the daily or 4-hour really starts to curl down, which I believe the 4-hour probably has. Ooh, just about to. So 4-hour curls down, that won't be good news. And you're seeing all the signals for that just about to happen. The MACD just needs to make that happen so far. So most likely is a downside for SMCI right now. We'll see if that can flip back around. Dow's still going higher though. VIX has not crossed up on the 2-hour yet, so people aren't too fearful of this so far. Just seeing if that 30-minute can cross down. SPY expected low for the day is 559.16. Expected low for the week is 552.70 with a 68% confidence there. Qs are already at their daily expected move, so that's one note, 476 on the dot. Then you do have 466.86 below you. So if you chop this low, you're most likely heading to that area, which maybe gap support comes in. We'll see. I mean, it could mean multiple things. It could mean it doesn't have as heavy of a weight of tech stocks. It could mean anything why the Dow is really still going higher. But a lot of people would say the Dow going higher is still a good sign that assets in general will go higher. All right, because this ain't crashing down or anything like that. And why is it going up? Well, the 2 hours crossing up, right? The hourly's crossing up. These kinds of things do matter. Momentum is to the upside, so that makes sense. SPY's just struggling a little right now as it tries to curl up. I don't want to read into it too much and try to figure out every single move of the market. I just want to be like, okay, what signal do I pay attention to next? This is the signal. 30-minute curl down. That's what I pay attention to next. If that happens, I need to react. Even if it is my daily expected move, I'm going to react. How's IWM? IWM's seeing some great stuff so far. Could experience a pullback at any time, though. You kind of see that. But as it keeps gaining ground here, we just see daily momentum still going. We'll see if that's able to die out at some point. But for the most part, if you're going to head higher here, this would be an okay look if we started to consolidate up in this area, start to break out. My overall target, 242.97 for this guy. Now, we might experience pullbacks before then, but I just think in the next few months, you're going to get there. All right, we get another 30-minute bar and another chance to see if we get that downside to cross over this MACD. How's everyone doing out there? Everyone got some decent little setups going on. Dollar's starting to drop off here. Remember, this dollar can drop off. That might cause some kind of upside. Maybe they want to trap people at the high completely at this level. If this curls down and curls back up, that's going to be probably a trap signal. We'll see. Yeah, you can see them, well, for the most part, you can see them over on Patreon. I do give them out every single day in my videos or live video in the morning. We give those out just so you have them, and I calculate those every single week. Those change every single week, just so you're aware. The options data is always changing, so we recalculate those. But for the most part, yeah, you can just tune into the YouTube video every single night. Normally, we have about 4 to 6 YouTube videos a week. And during those videos, towards the nighttime, you can get those ranges on your chart before the market even opens the next day. And we even give them on Patreon, we give them for the SPX, right? So the SPX, the futures market, you can use them for the futures market as well. Congratulations, KGB. Great trade. Well done. We like to hear about the wins. What is this guy? Oh, GSGS, no. Oh, commodity index, okay. So commodity is seeing some good stuff lately, for real. Seeing some decent stuff. Rejection, curl up, good things. Got to break through this level, that's for sure, but great price action so far. Sorry, it's an expectation. Z-Shotty, how you doing today, though? Not a ton of things to do on this, just showing the rejection of the cross down. That's usually a good sign for positivity. I mean, really, you're still having the swing trade signal as of right now. If you're really wanting to do swing trading in the safest way, a lot of people would say above the 200. So technically, a lot of people would say above the 200, crossed up on the MACD, crossed up on the RSI. That is more the trigger for a lot of people. But in this area, I like to say, oh, 30-minute pullbacks can happen. Look how that thing's getting pretty cooked. If you can just see something little like this and then see that curl up, something little like this and then curl back up, that's when that could continue. But daily momentum can just take over. So it's more like, if I got into this with that daily, okay, is that going to see more upside or is that starting to cross down on a 30-minute? Hey, that's not bad, Crimson. We'll take 13%, you know what I'm saying? Now, just note that SPY, if it does cross over, it is likely to see more downside. The Qs are going outside of its daily expected move, looking like they may want to reach down lower. We'll see if it can hold up at this low. If you start to cut that, then it's more likely to head towards 466.86. It really is. But it is happening pretty early on in the day, guys. And if people try to short this and the dollar keeps dropping like it is, then there could be buying happening behind the tape. We'll see. I like it, Z-Shotty. I like it. Me and you both. Me and you both. Dow just screaming. I see that SPY turn down, but the only problem is the dollar's turning down with this turn down. That's not what you want to see. So now we're seeing more of the rig behavior take back what's going on. We just saw the PCC jump, so now you're looking like maybe a trap to the downside is forming as far as those signals. But if things start to cross over, we still should read into it. I'm just stating right now, we're seeing a little bit of trap signals for downside. Interesting. And right as we see that, AMC starts falling, so we'll see. AMD's not stopping. AMD really showing that 2-hour pullback. If things start to curl up, though, we gotta react. Night again on the edge. See, we have to hold that for the whole day. That's the difficult part. To be alone, and so we got distressed out, paranoid. Come on, Q's. You gonna cut this low in the next 24 minutes or what? Did gold continue to see negativity, or did it start to go up as that dollar? Yeah, it's starting to go up as that dollar starts to pull down. Interesting. Ooh, but volatility is starting to scale up just a little bit. See if that too. See if an hourly can curl up, maybe. There you go. It's close enough to positive. Little divergence point now on an hourly chart too. You see that little tiny blip here giving you that little divergence point at the high. Wait, it's kind of funny because what did we do the last time that we were coming down? We had a similar look, right? We had a dip down, curl up, curl up, curl up, drop. Now we have what? A dip down, curl up, curl up, curl up, drop? Maybe. But I think too many people would benefit from a drop right now. I think they funk with the market a little bit, or it's being funked with right now. And this is just gonna go like, see if that happens. So hourly curls up, watch for that to curl back down into negative territory, but we'll see if that's able to just reverse. 30-minute crossover. Still what we're looking for. Q's already did it. Oh god, the Q's are doing it, man. Oh wow, and I said go away. There's a moment of it, but I said not today. Everything is sucks and I cannot relate. And everything is, and I cannot be saved. Maybe that's because I'm on the way. Volatility now up 4%. Housing market's still benefiting a little bit here. Housing sector. Tell me you see me, yeah, but tell me you just say but nothing. Dollar's still dropping off. Interesting. SPY continuing to drop just a little bit here. We'll look at that daily expected move. Remember, that could be the target. Q's chopped it, so everyone's going to get bearish, bearish, bearish on the Q's. And if the SPY just touches a daily expected move, we get support there. We could see some buying back up. Great dip from Tesla, now setting up the divergence. We'll see if it goes a little lower, sets up a divergence for us. What can a divergence on the 30-minute do? It can curl up 2-hour charts. So it's a time to pay attention. Tell me you see me, yeah, but tell you just to say but nothing. Video really dropping here. Yeah, it's over 1, so maybe this was just going to be a dip for a day, right? Because it looks like a little bit of trappiness to it. SPY's expected low for the day, right around that 559, 559.16. Good morning, Scott. How we doing? I'm just surprised that we're gonna maybe confirm this 30-minute down in the next hour, and then we see the PCC super high, dollars going lower. Which sometimes the initial crash or an initial downward move, you can see that dollar go lower. But overall, we would say this looks like there is some buying underneath happening in the last hour or so as that dollar drops off. You'd really like, as the market drops off more, for that dollar to keep increasing. Yeah, I'm still chilling, waiting for my big play. Picked a good day to sleep in. Oh yeah, weekend was great. I hope all you guys had a great weekend. I had a solid one. That is all I got for now. I don't want to talk about. I don't know just yet. Triple divergence here for the MACD and RSI. So 2 hour, we'll see if that's able to climb back up. But right now it's saying more of a 2 hour pullback. It's going into the first area where you can see that support though. So I get you. If that 30-minute can rotate back up, you have an argument there for sure. You just want to make sure it's not like consolidating and then breaking down. Bouncing up, breaking down. So if this curls up, you got a good sign of positivity. Just if that rotates back down, you got to react. That's it. Nice job, Scott. That's what we like to hear. I don't want to talk about voices in my head keep giving me the worst advice. Kamikaze crash like a suicide. I just don't like what Bitcoin's doing either. Saying 4 hour pullback. GME breaking down hard. Yeah, GME is breaking down pretty hard here. Originally, you're like, oh, the 2 hour might cross up, and then, oh, comes back down. So still pay attention till the end of the day. Obviously, we have earnings coming around the corner. Right there. Next week. Paranoid, I don't want to make it any worse. Very important to suppress AMC here for them. For short sellers. Very important to suppress it. Oops. Clove curls up on the 30-minute, it'd be good. I'm seeing a lot of divergence saying it could see an extended pullback for Clove. DJ Tizzle. Breaking down, breaking down, breaking down. So that's the key thing there. You see the divergence down at the lows. Daily has crossed up, looking like, hey, it's reaching down for that double dip. That's not the worst thing in the world. Just means you might want to react, and where are we going to end up? Maybe into our buy zone. The key thing here is the MACD got closer to the center line. So if it does curl over and curl back up, where's it going to be? It's going to be closer to going positive. That's when you pay attention. Maybe that leaks into something like what? GameStop earnings. Maybe. Or you would say maybe the jobs data. PCC up, dollar down. Yeah, and that's the big thing. Dollar's going down while the PCC remains high. That means we're a little bit likely to see some kind of rigged move to the upside. Some kind of 30-minute that just rejects or something. So the key is you see how they're down by the low. You do have a chance for this to just curl up now. And look at this. You have divergence there. Won't even miss you at all. See if that 30-minute can curl back up for the Qs. But you would just follow the signals here. Even with that rig behavior, that's not the main thing to look for. The main thing to look for is this crossing down? Now, if this keeps crossing down, that dollar keeps dropping, and then you see that curl back up, that's when I would pay attention. Or if the Qs are able to curl up first. See any reversal? Nothing really to go off of from the VIX at this moment. Dollar, I think, just dropping down. Maybe that just curls down for a brief moment. We see a little pop, and then boom, that thing starts to scale up. By little pop, I mean the SPY sees like a little pop, right? Really convinces people like, hey, the next move higher is coming. We break through the all-time high, and then it just goes like that. Right? You know how many people would be faked out if you just went like that? That'd be interesting. Looks pretty likely at this point. Interesting. I will be taking off here in about 15 minutes, but I will be back for a live stream at the end of the day. So we still got some time together. Don't go anywhere. Make sure to like the stream and come back later in the day. Make sure you have those notifications on so we can watch the last hour. See what this stock market looks like towards the end of the day when 30 to 40% of the volume comes in. AMC is still trying to hold it. Still really trying to hold it. GME is not. GME is rolling. Oh gosh, 4-hour curl down possible for GME right now. Not a good sign. Two-hour pullback would be nice for Mara. SMCI, I still really like this. The 4-hour is looking like, hey, it might curl over as well. See if there's a 4-hour divergence. That would be nice for SMCI. Two-hour curls up at any time for NVIDIA. We can see some positive price action. Keep it in your notes. 2-hour crosses up. That should mean good things. Oof, not a good bar there. Oof, 4-hour pullback kind of confirming here for Apple, though. We got to see if things start to change because dollar's rolling down like we're going to see a rig move up. It's nice because the last few days we haven't been seeing too much rig behavior. Dollar's been heading down, market's heading up. Like, it makes total sense. Now we're seeing a little bit of difference here. Dollar rolling down, dollar going down, SPY going down. That's when we have to really start to pay attention. But now I'm hungover and I'll be forever. Still for the Qs as of right now, more likely to head down in this area. Obviously, taking into consideration the daily expected move, still by end of day, likely to do this. So we just need to see if that 30-minute rotates back up. And the Dow's not seeing much weakness. But maybe it's going to be last to the party. It's been leading the market a lot of the time. See what's going on out there. In the last 5 years. Mullen? It is sitting at the support, Dustin. Yeah. It's sitting right in that zone. Sava. My dear Juliet. Watch for this 30-minute rolling down, but you do have the structure to head higher, so that would mean 2-hour pullback. Can that thing cross back up, or is that going to need to pull back further? That's what I'd look for the most part. Seeing this on the daily, though, kind of hesitating. Showing some, I would say, for the most part, weakness here, but not really with divergence or anything. But also just consolidating. So you're kind of in a 50-50 spot here where it's like, if this daily crosses down, maybe we go test the 20. But if a 2-hour can cross up, a 1-hour can cross up. A 1 hour is probably good to look at here too. 1 hour can go boom like that. You have a breakout moment where you could start to test the level between the highs. Something like this. That's what I'm seeing as of right now. We'll see how that plays out, but it can make another move higher if that hourly curls up. Yes, and that's where you know things are being a little funky, because for the most part it's just, oh, well, then a couple stocks not crashing are what's helping, only see a 1% downturn. That's not a good sign, though. This is curling down. That's not a good sign. If the SPY can do it, that's when you need to pay attention to, because that's both of them holding that signal. Dollar, though, still dropping off, so that would tell us there could be a move up coming, and all this might just be a fake out. But still following the signals. SPY curls down. You have the divergence point. Still good stuff. Oh yeah, Mullen. Let's go look at that too, real quick. Now, take this down a notch. 30-minute divergence here for Mullen. So let's see, that 2-hour, what's that look like? 2 hours still by just trying to go positive right now. See that 2-hour rollover, we can see more of this. But this is something different. That 30-minute is still positive at this moment. So is it really seeing daily momentum take over? I'd say so for the most part. See if that can really go positive. 30-minute curls down, not a good sign though. That's all I would say. 30-minute curls down, not a good sign, but you do have daily momentum still with you. S&P sees the rate cuts, sees a dip as the rate cuts is why the market is down. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily say it's exactly that, but you would say, rate cuts are known to be not a good thing for the market. It means that we need to cut rates because the economy is seeing weakness, right? But to do it at 25 basis points, that's not going to freak people out. That might give them euphoria. That's why we put out the video saying, hey, this could cause euphoric behavior where we see it curl down for a moment and then just blast higher with the rate cut. And then you start to see, oh, September 9th might be something big to pay attention to. Just pay attention to jobs data. That's it. They told you. Jobs data, they don't want that going up, right? Or they don't want unemployment going up. If it goes up, that should be a bad sign. We haven't looked at Siri today. Let's go look at Sirius here. Still in a 2-hour pullback, still holding that as of right now. 2-hour curls up, good moves can happen. I believe daily momentum is still with you here too, so you still have that daily cross up going. That's what they say. Maybe an hourly is the look. You see that hourly, if that can curl up, maybe you see that move go try to test a high level, 346. Nvidia trying to base out here, not fully going negative. Clove now at 314. There you go. So this is the first place it could hold up. I'd really like to just see this 30-minute confirm another upward move. If that happened, I'd be like, okay, this downturn probably isn't going to take place anymore. Unless it's like a blip or it crosses up in consolidation. Consolidation. So curls up, curls back down. If that curls up, though, you would say positivity. You can test this high, go make a new one, and maybe that's a big one as you're getting rid of the divergences. You just get rid of that with a big move. Then you see it later on. Tesla touching the top of the zone again. Look what they say. Key is starting to bounce back just a little bit. Dollar's sitting pretty much where it's been for the last few minutes here. PCC still high. So the best thing for the market maker right now, the best thing for the market maker right now with the PCC that high is to send the market higher. That'd be the best thing for them. That would mean this SPY's not going to exactly cross over this MACD yet. How do we know if that's going to take place? Well, if this 15-minute can confirm another upside move, but they could just sit the market flat, let people go to the call side, and then see what happens the next day. AMC up 1.58. You need to be up a little bit more than that, I believe, to cross up this daily MACD. Yeah, just a little bit more, like 515, 520, right in there. Right in here would be solid. Yeah, the time where this could see another upward move for Palantir would be, hey, this is a dip down. That's awesome. We see dips down all the time. If this 30-minute can curl up, then you have some kind of reaction here if you're able to cross through the breakdown area at this point. Right? Breakdown area. If you consolidate and retest that and then you drop again, that wouldn't be good. But if this would cross up pretty strong or remain above there, then you can maybe see a move up towards 33.50. Something like that. Yeah, I don't hate the play. It's not, it's like, it's a dip down. You went towards that move. You'd really like that to dip all the way down to a weekly move. Everybody tells me it's alright. Everybody tells me I'll be fine. Everything is not okay. Make 600 and bail. I like it. That's good. That's good. Trading back and forth. Oof, gold really wanting that though. I think this is all just market makers wanting to benefit. I really think the dollar is going to bottom out here for a moment, but for the very, very short term, you could see a rigged move. Deep end. This trade I made, 100 seconds was 120 seconds. I messed up the stop loss and lost 60 to 80 on that trade. I'm in my last trade. I'm looking for 50 to 100 on this one. Well, good luck to you. Good luck to you, Jackson. I hope it goes well for you. I really do. Are you looking at Triple M or money-making market? 3M here, seeing a 30-minute little divergence on the MACD, not on the RSI at the same time. This looks like daily's forming. Ooh, daily could be forming soon. Bunch of little 2-hour divergence. Not really showing too much on the MACD and RSI at the same time. I would say just one big one across, so very hard one to call with this one. Deep end, deep end. And if that 4-hour for the Qs crosses, then look at the bigger momentum. That's saying pullback. Bigger momentum matters. Means any kind of 30-minute pop we could see might fade, right? Well, for the SPY, I just want to be sure that there's going to be upside, right? Right now, still, I mean, the SPY not crossing over, so still showing like, hey, we're holding up pretty well. Okay, that's awesome. But when things like the Qs are rolling over, the dollar looks like it's bottoming, volatility might be bottoming. Now, the Qs could bottom here. Right now, you're seeing the rigged behavior. So I would more so think that if we're going to make a move higher, it still could be a trap. right? If we start to see this happen and that dollar starts to scale up and then we see the PCC go really, really low, that's when I'll be paying attention. So I think the end of the day, we'll have more to say about this, Mark. I think this is possible. But if it starts to roll down, then you want to make sure to react is what I would say, because that can really escalate below these levels. Then if you see it used as support and curl back up, okay, awesome, right back in the play. Just really mitigating the risk. Volatility curls down on a 30-minute, that would make you feel pretty good too. Excuse me. That one hurt. Digging deeper till I... All right, this 30-minute bar matters, so I might stick on for a little bit longer here. Oh no, Hims had to move down. Yeah, a bunch of divergences on Hims on the 30-minute telling you, hey, this 2-hour might need to do more of a pullback, right? We see the 2-hour here crossing down as of this moment. So this is telling you Hims is most likely to head down. Then you want to pay attention. It's still closer to that center line, right? So if it's short and sweet, goes like that, lines up with the tapering a little bit, hey, that turns right back up. That'd be a good play, but you got to wait for that one. Be patient on it. Downside most likely scenario if that 2-hour prints in 30 minutes. The video wasn't able to fully break down. The biggest one that I know, if you think that you're special, then that might be a problem. Gesundheit. Why, thank you. I still think you're more likely to see like September 9th be a big deal. You're so fake. By 2 cents again. Yeah, come on, Just Joe. We want exact numbers every time. Uh-oh, we'll see now. Okay, so one key thing to note about ranges, okay? When you break down through them, you can use them as resistance. So we'll see if we're able to use this as resistance, or is the dollar dropping and the PCC being high gonna send this up? Expires today. If this 30-minute curls down, that might be a bad sign. That's what I would say. That's literally all I can really say about that, because if this crosses down, that's confirming momentum to the downside just a little bit. If that goes negative, that's bad, and you're pretty close to the center line. So if that curls down, you're gonna say, okay, that could be bad. This could get ugly. And then if it just goes like that, oh, you go, okay, right back in the move, right? That's it. Does that make sense, Jay? You're not necessarily seeing this curl down just yet. You're seeing some behavior that could end up the market heading higher, but now, you know, we could just see this not cross down, right? We could see the dollar just pick up here. PCC starts to drop, who knows? But right now, PCC up, dollar down, going down in the last hour or so. And the market's been going down for the last hour or so, which tells you someone in there might be buying. It's not dramatic or anything, though. It's not dramatic. I like it to be a little more dramatic, personally. We're seeing that positive correlation come in, which usually means we're going to see some rigged moves this week. Now, one thing to note here with Tesla is if that curls up, this would be a great piece of structure to head higher, really close to the center line. 10-4, Bubby. Okay, good, Jay. Okay. So yeah, really paying attention to this 30-minute bar. Looks like we have some of that rigged behavior, not a ton of it. So maybe a little push higher would make sense to trap some people, but we'll see. for the most part, guys, I wanted to say we're coming back live later this afternoon, okay? For the last hour before the close, we will be live. Make sure you have your notifications on. We're going to step off just for a little bit. I'm going to go get a Firehouse sub thanks to Short Fridays. Thank you so much for the $5. I'll go get myself a nice sandwich with it. And I really appreciate you guys being here today. I hope to be helpful on this channel, and we're going to continue to be helpful hopefully later today. Just make sure to pay attention. Even if the dollar's heading lower and the market's heading lower, it still means pay attention. That could be an elongated trap, right? That could happen for a while before that actually wants to build back up. But if this doesn't even cross, then that could mean we're heading to this direction. So we'll see what it looks like by the end of the day. Thank you guys for joining this morning. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I will see you guys in just a little bit. All right? Peace out, homies. I'll be back later today. Make sure you're subscribed. You got those notifications on.